Welcome to the Planet Amazon podcast with Adam Schafer, where we explore the world of Amazon and other e-commerce marketplaces. Join us as we delve into the latest strategies and tactics for successful selling on the world's largest online marketplace.
Hello, and I'm Adam Schafer, and welcome to the Planet Amazon podcast, where we talk about all things Amazon. Today on the podcast, we're excited to have a real Amazon Marketplace veteran, Dan Brownsher. Dan is the president, CEO, co-founder at ChannelKey, advising multi-million-dollar corporations to fast-paced entrepreneurial startups on how to navigate the complex landscape of Amazon and the broader world of e-commerce in general. Dan is also co-founder of Trend Nation, a top 200 global Amazon seller, selling $1 billion in revenue. He's a national thought leader in Amazon retail strategy and emerging e-commerce trends. Welcome to the podcast, Dan Brownsher.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for having me.
Wow, what an amazing background you have. I definitely need to learn more, but holy cow, you've done a lot.
It's been a fun journey, Adam, where, Amazon's a really amazing ecosystem that has created, I think, opportunities for a lot of different types of entrepreneurs. So very fortunate to have found Amazon in the early days.
Well, I know kind of maybe boring to you, but interesting to people that are listening. What got you started to start ChannelKey and get involved in this crazy, large, enormous Amazon marketplace?
So it's a good question, Adam, and I can give you the Reader's Digest version, or I can give you the deeper version. Graduated from Ohio State, early 2000s, and started a side hustle e-commerce business with some buddies / business partners, like in 2008, 2009. And basically what we were doing was sourcing goods on Alibaba. We picked a random category, men's accessories, so cufflinks, money clips, and we started selling them on eBay. And it was a total side hustle, side project for me. I like creating multiple streams of revenue and income, and this was one of those things. So I had a day job where I was, selling spine implants to surgeons. And then by night I was taking photos of cufflinks. We were sourcing cufflinks, listed them on eBay, and packaging orders in my basement of my house. So that turned into my partner moving to Vegas, my partner starting to attend trade shows and buying branded merchandise, like from, big brands like Tommy Hilfiger, Kenneth Cole, to then starting to sell on Amazon, to us pivoting to creating an exclusive reseller model on Amazon, similar to a Quiver or a Pattern or an eTails, to pivoting to private label, to then bifurcating the businesses and saying, hey, listen, we know how to create these best-in-class Amazon businesses for ourselves, and we know these brands are all struggling with how to do it. So why don't we create a service model or an agency that helps these brands do Amazon at a high level? So that was like the genesis of ChannelKey. So two businesses, one Amazon private label. We sold it in 2021 to private equity, which is, again, a large Amazon PL business. And then I've been running ChannelKey since January of 2017.
So the product business is now gone and you're focused 100% on the agency.
So when we split, right, we created ChannelKey as a separate company with common owners, and my two partners ran that business, and I ran the agency. So Trend Nation still exists, but we're not involved anymore. And I've been solely focused and dedicated on ChannelKey since January of 2017. So we're up to about 85 people now, and we're fully remote and full service shop, and work with some of the biggest brands in the world.
What's interesting is we kind of compete, but we don't. I mean, it's such a huge market. Like I talk to all the competitors, you mentioned a few, and there are others. I mean, there's millions of people that sell on Amazon, and we all still help each other out and talk to each other. And sometimes we share clients and we help each other with clients. So when people say, why do you want a competitor on the show? It's like, first of all, I'm here not really to talk about us and what we do, but we are an agency, but we do buy and sell to help our brands that instead of selling to Amazon, they sell to us. But with you, you have such an incredible experience. You just bring more to the table. To me, it's like you're part of the community. People come and ask questions. I don't care if you're a competitor or you're not a competitor. Everybody seems to help each other out in this place. I've never seen that outside of the Amazon world.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's still a small community, right? It's certainly getting a lot bigger. But you're right. I talk to our competitors all the time and have personal relationships with a lot of our competitors, and it's okay. I think a lot of the people in the community build in public, right? Which is fun and interesting and allows us to kind of see the growth and the trajectory of a lot of different types of businesses in the ecosystem. But yeah, I don't know. My experience is people will want to share. Not always, but in most cases, they are willing to share. It's moving so fast, and we're all dealing with a lot of the same types of problems and challenges that come with running these types of businesses and playing in Amazon's sandbox. But it's still, I don't know, in my opinion, it's still really nascent. Like, obviously Amazon's massive, but as a total percentage of retail, e-com's still small. It's growing. Amazon's got half of all US marketplace e-com biz. But there's like so much blue sky ahead. So
Yeah,
I
and
don't
you're
know.
talking
I
about
think it's a small community. It's still early.
$640 billion of merchandise that gets sold. There's so much. There's so many. Like I was just saying, I think we have a little bit of a break in hearing each other. But $640 billion in merchandise that gets sold. If you're $1 billion in sales, you're still nothing. I mean, it's amazing how big this pond is.
Correct. And the pond's just getting much bigger, right? Bigger and bigger. And I don't see it slowing down anytime soon, So
I have a softball question for you, but it's something that's near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
And that is, we meet brands every day, small and large. We love them all. And they're like, I think I need help, but I'm not exactly sure why I need help. But tell me why you think most, if not all, brands need help selling and understanding Amazon, and why there's a place for agencies, because I think that without the help of an agency, you're going to fail. So that's just my twisted view of things. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, and Adam, you cut out there for a second, okay, but I think I got the gist of it.
Sure.
And I think it's why is there a place for agencies, right, in our world, especially with dealing with I don't know, any size. I don't know. We're in the service. We're a service business, right? And there's so many other types of service businesses out there that exist. And whether it's a legal, it's an attorney, or whether it's a cleaning crew, or whether it's a Shopify shop, and businesses, any type of business, needs to decide what they want to be good at, right? And so, do you want to be good at building a brand and developing products and being an expert in every single channel you sell through, or not? And the answer is some brands do and some brands don't. And I think from my perspective, this is all we do, and we are in it every single day. And it's moving so fast, and it's only getting more complex. There's only more technology tools that exist. There's only more ad types that exist. There's so much. There's so many challenges that brands experience, will experience every single day. And to hire a group that has the people, the experience, the technology, the resources, the relationship with Amazon, the access to certain things like DSP or whatever, to flatten the learning curve for brands, it's basically, in my opinion, impossible to replicate it if you're a brand, unless you are massive and you've got a ton of resources and you want to become an expert on the platform. It's really hard, and it changes every single day. So I don't know. We've got experience across multiple categories, multiple years, multiple issues resolved, multiple ads, and multiple everything that we can leverage and pinpoint solutions for our clients really quick.
What I think is you have to be so damn good at everything if you want to be successful on Amazon. And it's hard because, like you said, it changes and it's really competitive. So if you're not really good at content and understanding how to test your content, if you're not good at the logistics and making sure you don't run out of stock, and the issues with that, you're not going to compete with the guys that are all over this every minute of every day. And that's why you need somebody, like you mentioned, a lawyer. It's like you need a lawyer for this. You need somebody that's a specialist in managing every aspect of your Amazon business. You might be good at the brand and understanding your brand, but making it work on Amazon is a challenge, I think. So I'm
Yeah.
a believer in that you need professional help wherever you can get it. And some people go to a company like yours that could do it all, and some take pieces and spread it out. I like to work with a group of people I like and enjoy working with.
Yeah, we've used this analogy over the years that running a proper Amazon business or best in class ones like flying a plane, right? Like everything's got to be happening in concert for it to make sense. And that's our overall thesis, right? Like we built our own, large private label business. Like we've done it all. Like we've sourced the inventory, we've got stuck with the inventory, we've labeled the inventory, we've shipped it. Like we've done all this stuff. And we know what it takes. And yeah, it is complex. It is complex. And like, it's all going to be working together. Right. And Amazon is not like other channels. Like we do a lot of vendors or vendor central clients. And it's like negotiating AVN with your vendor manager is hard, and it's specific and it's unique, and it's not like any other channel. Right. But it's incredibly important. And so to have that purview and ability to touch every part of the business, in our view, is it's important and it's critical.
What's funny is you mentioned shipping products. I mean, God, you're going to, at some point of your life at Amazon, make a mistake that's pretty costly, whether
Yeah.
it's a reconciliation issue or something you did wrong that Amazon comes after you for and hits you with a chargeback,
Yep.
or whatever. So if you haven't made your mistakes, you're going to make, so like somebody coming into this space, they're going to make a mistake. And like somebody like you has made that mistake or those mistakes already, and you know what's going to burn your fingers. Tell us about any of the burn your finger moments you've had. If you want, you don't have to share,
Oh
but if you
man.
have any good one, give me your favorite. But I mean, we know brands that have gotten fined $100,000, $200,000 from Amazon, gotten products held at Amazon for a year and haven't been able to get them released. All kinds of crazy stuff.
It's so crazy. I'm like trying to think, like that question like spurred immediate PTSD for me. But I don't know. Let's see. We've dealt with so many issues over the years, from faulty uploads to where, Excel spreadsheet, one of the columns got accidentally deleted and you've uploaded the wrong data into the pricing field, right? And changed all your prices on Amazon to, brands. And this is super common and has been common for years, trying to figure out ways to generate more reviews and leveraging QR codes to, try and get more traffic to their listings and or generate more volume and reviews. We've had accounts shut down. We've had so many listings shut down. You name it, like we've dealt with it and seen it. And whether that was at our product company we owned or dealing with our clients, it's a constant battle, right? It's a constant battle. And it could be super nuanced. Like, hey, if this type of issue happens, you have an IP claim or whatever, like how do you resolve that issue?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Who do you talk to specifically? Because you can't just pick up the phone and call Amazon, right? It doesn't necessarily work that way. So knowing how to triage an issue and do I go left or do I go right is important, because it can save days, weeks, months, or perhaps your entire account if you make the right decision versus the wrong decision.
And getting through them, sometimes you go left, right, and center because you try everything. And you see whatever breaks through. You get lucky and you try something. Somebody says no, somebody says yes, and you get lucky that way.
Yeah.
But it's not. I would say it's an art more than a science on that. It's playing it right, saying the right things, getting the right words to the right person at the right moment. So it's interesting. But I think the big point of that is, if you're a brand, you're going to make a mistake and then you're going to make a mistake again. And you might as well work with people that have made the mistakes so you don't ever have to make them again, because they could be costly. And even if you think you got it dialed, there's something you just don't know, and you're going to step into a pothole. And it's good to have a partner with you along the way. So I am a huge advocate. Changing the topic to something more about business than Amazon. Now, you mentioned you're in Vegas, but your company is 100% remote. And during COVID, I think we all learned for the most part how to work remote. But you remain remote, and you like that model. I like that model. How do you make that work for your company? Because you see all these CEOs, I want everybody back in the office, and then the employees are not happy. And then a lot of people are more productive at home than they are in the office. So what's your take, and how do you make it work for ChannelKey?
It's a good question. And we've had offices, right? When we first started, we had an office. I think we had 3 total offices in Vegas over the years. We were toying with remote, and then COVID hit, and we pulled the plug, right? And actually, I was a part owner of a building downtown, and we were a tenant in the building, and we didn't renew the lease, right? That's how much we believed in remote for this business type, not for all business types that you can do it, but for this business type, it makes a lot of sense, right? Like, I don't know, we are in the people business. That's it. Like, we don't have, a manufacturing facility or trucks, or we're not making stuff, right? It's people and computers and software and contracts. Like, that's it. And so, which can make it even harder, I think, to your point, Adam, right? It's like, how do you, and we've got 85 people on our team, how do you create a service model that is delivering a service with human beings and technology, and do it at scale, and do it consistently, so you're producing a repeatable outcome for your clients at a high level? It's really hard, and it only gets harder as your team grows. So I think for me, the key is, from an executive perspective and my perspective, it's, we need to craft a vision for our team that is crystal clear, and we need to reinforce that vision over and over again. We need to reinforce what our values are and what we stand for. We need to reinforce where we're at today and where we're going to be in 3 years, and talk about it so that everybody knows what is happening, so we're all rowing in the same direction. Okay. So from a foundation, and we use EOS, by the way, Traction EOS, to operate our business, and we have for years. And so I think it starts with that, is creating alignment and transparency around the foundation of the business and where you're heading. Then, in a remote environment, in my opinion, the key is creating engagement. Okay. And making sure that the team is working together and they're engaging with each other. So there's some things we've done. Like, I don't know, one of the core rules that we've had in the business since day one of going remote is, any meeting we have, internal or external, you must be on camera. Right. And people talk about Zoom fatigue and all of that, and I don't necessarily buy into it. Now, it's hard to stand in front of your computer all day and be in meetings all day. But in my opinion, okay, I'm talking to you, Adam, right now. You're in your office or your home or wherever. I can see your background. I can see the beautiful, palm leaves in the background. And you're in my home too. Like, you're in my home right now. I think it's very intimate. Okay. So, additionally, you can see me. You can see my facial expressions. You can see what I'm wearing. You can see all of that. And if I'm on calls all day and I can't see you, that would drain me. Okay. So I believe that seeing people on calls, it creates connectivity and creates intimacy. And then it's about creating these collisions digitally on a recurring basis. So we have recurring huddles where we get all staff together. We have recurring all staff meetings where we're sharing. We have a team that we call our ACT team that is creating events that our team does. It could be virtual painting. We've got something today actually where we're doing we send out baby pictures of everybody, and then everybody has to guess who the person is inside the company, right? So that we're creating these events and ways for people to interact with each other and to collide with each other. So I don't know. In my opinion, it's not any different than running a business in an office. You just have to make space for people to connect with each other.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason I ask you that is because it just in business in general right now, it's a big topic, and you've made it work, and so great work, congratulations, you made it work. But I just think for certain companies, there's a place for it, and I think there's a place for hybrid also, but I think it's opened up a whole new world where your pool of talent is worldwide.
It's an absolute competitive advantage from a talent set perspective. We've got people all over the world. So yeah, absolutely. We can hire the best and brightest, and we can do it very efficiently. We've got 30 people in the Philippines that are amazing members of our team that, hey, listen, if we were in office, we couldn't necessarily do that. Mm-hmm. So it creates a lot of flexibility to your point. And if you can do it at scale and do it and maintain a culture of connectivity, it works. It absolutely works. And I love real estate, Adam. And I've never understood why a lot of these business CEOs or whatever want to bring everybody back into the office. I think it's based in fear. And I think perhaps they want to get a return on their investment on their real estate. So I love real estate, but I would not own office space right now. I just wouldn't, because I don't necessarily believe in it fully at this point.
Yeah, it's good for restaurants and barbershops maybe, but
yeah, exactly.
So, okay, well, thanks for breaking away from the Amazon topic for a minute and talking about biz, but let's get back to Amazon. And the question is, for you, what is like the most challenging part of Amazon? We talked about a bunch of different things before, but what do you think like is the most complicated but important part of Amazon to master?
That's a really good question. And I want to be thoughtful in my answer, Adam, because there's so many different complexities, and I think it changes every day. Like you asked me today, it's one answer, and ask me tomorrow, it's something different, just based upon what we're dealing with. I don't know. I think the most complicated part about Amazon is trying to think about a brand and where they're at today and where they want to go, and build a strategic business plan for them that encompasses their demand planning, their how their product is distributed, who their competitive set is, what their margin profile requirements are, and whether or not they want to grow profitably, or they want to want to take share, right? And then to layer on to create a multi-layered traffic driving promotional strategy campaign around some sort of calendar is a really hard challenge. And that's what we try to do. Right. So I think at a macro level, like that's a big problem to solve. So, hey, and we have a company we're talking to right now that's a $300 million Amazon brand, like 300 million. Right. It's like, okay, well, we want to grow the business. Okay. Well, what does that look like? How do we do that? You have a mature business in a competitive category. How do you do that? And it's not a single thing, right? It's a multitude of different incremental things that are going to happen, have to yield that outcome. So I think building those types of plans is super complex. If I look kind of more micro, I would say running like everybody wants to talk about advertising on Amazon. It's like the super sexy topic. Their ad business is growing so rapidly, and it's so cool. And there's Prime Video, and there's Thursday Night Football, and there's all this really cool stuff that's super important. But it's hard, right? And it's getting harder, right? And you've got to now think full funnel for these brands around how we're going to leverage all the traffic on the platform and now off the platform. So piecing that matrix together, and leveraging all of this data through AMC, and piecing and stitching this client persona together, and the journey for the consumer based on the product type and how you want to advertise and drive traffic, I think is a really hard problem to solve.
I'm taking you on my next client call. That's great. I need that. So no, but you're right. I mean, it's hard, but it's important. And it's not just let me put some money and let it ride on the Amazon platform. It's everywhere. It's off Amazon. It's video, it's influencers, it's everything.
It's everything.
What a pain in the neck, man. God bless you. That's great. I'm glad you're doing that.
It's fun, Adam, right? It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, no. And when you talk to brands all the time, and many of them have been doing it themselves or through Amazon, what do you find is like the most, maybe not the most common, but what is the biggest mistake you see that brands make selling on Amazon?
Man, it's honestly the basics, right? I think they've in a lot of cases fail at the basics. And in my opinion, the basics are retail readiness, right? Are you using all the images in the carousel? Do you have videos? How's your store look? Do you have A+ content? Are your titles optimized? How many reviews do you have? How good quality? Like the basics, like retail readiness, in our opinion, which is an Amazon term, is like table stakes. Like you, at minimum, you have to be retail ready.
Yep.
And we see so many brands that just aren't, right? And then the other component to that, I think, is managing the operations of their business, right? And more specifically around their inventory and the management of their inventory and the control of their distribution of their products to the world.
Yep.
Because, like, again, running a proper business on Amazon is like flying a plane. You can have the most badass product videos and content and ad structure and DSP campaigns, all this stuff. But like, if you can't keep your product in stock, right? Or you have challenges with the buy box, it doesn't matter. Like, none of it matters. And so I don't know. I think that it's still the basics, like the fundamentals of operating a business, controlling distribution, keeping products in stock, and maintaining a base level efficacy around, how your PDPs look, I think is what we find very often, regardless of lifestyle or life cycle or size of brand.
It's interesting. You talk about distribution. The biggest issue I think we see is that the brands, they want to be successful on Amazon. They want everybody to be kind to their brand and not lower the price below minimum advertised price, but yet they don't want to put in place a channel policy that helps protect them because they're afraid they're going to offend somebody or lose sales or something like that, where if they did it right, they would get more sales at a higher profit by having rules in place to not let anybody on the planet sell their stuff on Amazon.
Yeah. Amazon, like, to become a professional seller on Amazon, it costs you $40 a month. Right. So it's not, the barriers to entry are ridiculously low. And so it's right for gray market. It's right for companies that maybe have a retail store.com that just want to push out the back door and list it on Amazon. It's like right for that. It's always been right for that. Yeah. And you're right. Like, people or brands need to treat Amazon not like any other channel, right? Because that opportunity exists. And we see this a lot of times with B2B customers. I have like big B2B businesses that, hey, listen, I don't want to upset my business customers, right? But what they're doing is they're introducing competition to themselves on the platform. And so they need to make a choice. Like, who do you want to be? Like, what do you want to be good at? And we're not saying don't have a B2B business or don't sell to your B2B customers. Like, no, if you want to grow a real Amazon business and control it, you've got to control the distribution on the platform and or the buy box, because if not, it will inevitably get out of control. Assuming there's like good volume for your products, somebody will latch onto it some way, shape, or form. So our opinion has always been from day one is if you want to be successful on Amazon, you should control it. Whether you're a 3P seller or a vendor, control it, own the buy box, own the catalog, own the content, own the traffic driving strategy. Otherwise, somebody else will.
What's funny is we'll talk to a brand and we'll say, this store, XYZ store, is buying it from that distributor, and they're selling approximately this much a month on Amazon through all the tools we have. And they'll go, that store is that company? I didn't know that. Oh my God, that's my best retailer. And they're your best retailer because they're selling it all on Amazon. Yeah. They're not selling it through their mom and pop store. Like they're an Amazon seller, and they're selling it below map, and they're destroying the rest of your channel business. Don't you understand? Like, either put a rule in place that they can't sell it below minimum advertised price, or stop them from selling on Amazon. Stop the distribution. And so, but I don't want to hurt the feeling, but you gotta do something, because you're just going to complain all day and you're not going to solve your problem. So it's a tough conversation sometimes to have, but it's reality.
And it's been like that since I started, right? I mean, we started as a reseller, right? Like we know how it works.
You know all the tricks, don't you?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. right? And not that we ever did anything nefarious, but yeah, like we saw it over the years, right? Especially when we had we pivoted from being a reseller to being an exclusive reseller. So we go to these brands, we say, hey, listen, let us be your exclusive seller on Amazon. In exchange for that, we'll do your catalog work and we'll do your ads and we'll provide you these services, right? But we're still going to buy your inventory. Oh, and by the way, we're going to hold price. We're not going to violate MAP. And where that broke was, man, we bought the goods. It's sitting in my warehouse and I can't sell it. I have an exclusivity agreement with you, but you can't control your distribution. Yep. So I'm stuck. I got stuck. And so it's been a problem forever. Now it's gotten better over the years because it's just more talked about and Amazon's become bigger, but like, this is not a new issue, you know? So we've seen it. We've seen all the crazy stuff with the fake addresses and like, it's just, I don't know. It's wild. But yeah, it's a pretty basic thing. You know, you'd think you'd want to control this channel and platform.
That's cool. So I have like a surprise. I just got this piece of paper today and it tells me, and I said I wouldn't get into anything super in the dirt, but this is kind of high level. So it's a kind of a contest. You have to pick what the largest complaint or fear that Amazon sellers, it's the greatest fears Amazon sellers have. And I'll give you the multiple choice and then see if you can get it right. Other, so don't go with that one. It's account suspension, rising fees, ASIN suspension, black hat attacks, or counterfeit goods, which is 3P sellers' biggest fear.
What is, okay, so what is a third-party seller that is a brand owner or not a brand owner?
It's generic. So let's say it's somebody selling anything on Amazon. Are they concerned more about account suspension, rising fees, ASIN suspension, black hat attacks, or counterfeit goods?
I'm going to go with, yeah, I'm going to go right now with rising fees.
I would have done the same, but it's account suspension. So there might 63.3%. And I wish I could tell you what report this is from, but it's from something that I printed out, and of course I didn't take the source, but there's a bunch of coffee beans on it. So maybe maybe it's the coffee bean report, but it's what is your greatest fear as an Amazon seller? So account suspension, 63%, rising fees is 17.7. I would have thought it's rising fees because not just has freight been going up, although Amazon's freight rates are still better than most, but just their fees in everything they do. Yeah. Plus, you now have to pay for more space if you want to get more space. So I would have thought that's it. But have you run into account suspensions before?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
How have you dealt with that?
We had one recently.
No.
How do we deal with it?
I mean, that could be fatal, right?
Oh yeah, it's not good for business. Yeah, it's bad. So let's see. How do we deal with it? It depends. It depends on the situation and what happened, right? A lot of our clients, vendors, it's more rare to have a vendor account shut down. But for a seller account, do they have a SaaS core rep? Mm-hmm. Right? Are they paying Amazon? Do they have a rep that they pay? And if the answer is yes, we get those folks involved quickly. And we've had some recent wins. Like for a while there, we were like SaaS core. We were generally not pro SaaS core for a while. But I think that flipped recently when dealing with some of these issues. So if there's a SaaS core rep, get involved ASAP, clear documentation, clear everything. And again, it depends on what the issue is. Okay. And then we always we'll pull in specialists too. Right. So like we'll pull in the Riverbends of the world if needed, or some other companies that can help us resolve those very specific, like niche type issues. Right. So like what I've said is we're a full service agency, right? For brands on Amazon. There's a few things we don't do. But in certain nuanced scenarios, we become generalists, mm-hmm. right? And sometimes we have to bring in the surgeon, to help us, right? We'll triage an issue and we're the general care physician, but sometimes you got to bring in the surgeon. And for those types of issues, we'll bring in a third party to help us.
Yeah, no, and Riverbend's great. We had them on our show too. They're excellent. So good call on them.
Yeah.
What I found a lot of times is it's account health. Like sometimes people aren't realizing they're getting dinged every day by being late, or something's not right, or they're getting complaints they're not answering.
Yeah.
Everything is on the timer. Everything is on a clock, and you have to understand that. Whether it's you're managing the brand, somebody's managing it for you. You got to get back and answer the questions, or you're going to have an account health problem. If you're not shipping the products on time, you're going to have an account health problem, and ultimately you're going to get shut down.
There's so many different booby traps, right? And yeah, it's time sensitive, and then the POAs you write have to be written in a certain way and have to, a certain length and a certain structure. And it's you brought this up earlier, like if you've not dealt with this issue before and you're a brand and now all of a sudden your account is gone and you have to figure out how to resolve it, it's hard. It is really hard. And you can step in a pothole pretty quick if you make the wrong choice.
ASIN suspension, that is better than account suspension, but you could have millions of dollars of inventory tied up sitting at FBA and they take your ASIN off. I mean, that is a nightmare too. And that we've dealt with, quite often, where we had to provide paperwork and receipts and
testing and all sorts of stuff.
It's a nightmare, but that, these are things that every brand ultimately runs into. So it's a fear, but it's a reality. Like, you just have to understand that, do everything in your power to keep your account clean, make sure that you have all your paperwork, and there'll be that day when it happens and you got to have your stuff together.
You got to have it. Yeah. And sometimes you can try to stay ahead of it, but other times it's like Amazon tells you when this is going to happen, right? Like a bot can come through and scrape something and pull you down immediately. There's some word in your copy on your listing or a bullet point or whatever. There's that whole pesticide issue, or products are getting taken down requiring pesticide testing. It's just like, it's just not a set it and forget it environment, right? And there's no like playbook that works all the time, and it can be perfect today and your account can be shut down tomorrow by surprise, so it's hard.
Yeah. So with all the competition, with all the complexities, we all still love the Amazon Marketplace because we see so much opportunity in it. And do you think it's too late now for people to start on Amazon? Do you think that it's just every category is so loaded with competition you couldn't break through?
I don't think so. But I do think the playbook on how to do it has changed, right? Like in the past, and we did this ourselves, creating an Amazon only brand, I think is certainly still doable, but I think the longevity of it is challenged. And the way that you need to consider it now is it cannot just be Amazon, right? You can start it on Amazon, but you need to have a social strategy. You need to build a brand, right? You need to build a brand because if it's just based on Amazon and just based on reviews, and it's just based on winning on that platform, somebody's going to take your lunch, right? Somebody's going to build a better mousetrap. They're going to come in with a cheaper cost. They're going to come up with something to deter traffic away from you. So I still think it's absolutely doable. And you can make products to market really quick, and the research and the data that you can get to find opportunities still exists. But those holes in that white space closes super quick. And what doesn't change, or what is a good hedge against that, is creating awareness of your brand, right? And branded search. Right? Let's win on branded search, and let's create some sort of connective tissue with our consumer. And I think the way you do that is through social, certain product types. TikTok is important right now. So finding ways to drive traffic into Amazon and build a brand on top of the Amazon platform, I think is the way you have to do it. Otherwise, I think there's a lot of risk.
Would you do your own Shopify site too?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, Shopify site, drop a buy with Prime widget on there, and absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, now, I'm really into the Shopify platform at this point too.
Yeah. Now, where would I drive my traffic?
Yeah,
right? That's a question.
It might convert better on Amazon.
might convert better on Amazon, right? But if I can activate that customer on Shopify and create some sort of continuity around that, that's interesting.
You own the customer. Yep, sure.
So I think that's how you have to think. Okay.
Cool.
In the old days, just build an Amazon only brand and, start ranking and maybe throw some advertising up and put in an FBA, get a Prime badge. It's like, hey, this is not that hard, but it's not like that anymore.
No, and plus there's just a commitment of advertising dollars. Like, I know people think they could do it all organically, but
no,
you gotta put that into your cost of goods. It's ridiculous.
And it's only going up, and the fulfillment costs are everything's going up.
Well, that's scary. So, but there's good to know there's still a place to start a product anyway on Amazon. It's a good launching pad potentially for a product that you want to get out there into other channels. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And so, kind of wrapping this up, what advice do you have for not just somebody trying to start up, but a brand that's already selling on Amazon? What's your advice to them, knowing what you do and how complicated things are?
Man, that's a really good question. My advice for a brand that's perhaps already selling or established on the platform is to leverage data that allows you to fully understand the customer journey and how your customers are engaging with your products at various stages of the buying platform or the buying funnel, right? That's what I would say. Because if you can see that and you can unlock that, which requires AMC, the map becomes a lot more clear, and the playbook and strategy becomes more clear around customer acquisition, LTV, and then how far are my advertising dollars going? That's my one piece of advice.
Good advice. And if I'm a brand and I want to get in touch with you, Dan, and ChannelKey, how do I do it?
Yeah, good question. So you go to our website, ChannelKey.com. You can find me, Dan Brownsher, on LinkedIn. Very active. I post multiple times per week. So you can follow me, engage with me on LinkedIn. You can follow ChannelKey on LinkedIn. You can sign up for our blog posts on our website. We push out a lot of content. So you could just easy Google search us, search ChannelKey, search me, and find us on LinkedIn or find us on our website.
Thank you very much. I mean, I get a lot of your content. It's really good. So thanks for pushing that out. It's really helpful. With that, let's wrap up for today. And I wanted to thank you again for joining Planet Amazon. Really enjoyed talking with you.
Likewise, Adam. I had a lot of fun. And I appreciated the conversation. It was good.
I'll see you in Miami, man.
I'll be there. Let's
cool.
do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching another episode of the Planet Amazon podcast, where we talk all things Amazon. If you want to learn about how to accelerate your sales on Amazon, visit Phelps United's website at phelpsunited.com.